If you're the chairman of QPR and you're watching this, do not sack Marti. We don't want it. It's not needed. And we'll give you the reasons why in a second. Welcome back to our Rangers Walk. This is a 20-minute review of all things QPR. We've got Joad, Michael, and our guest Ryan in place to not only discuss that Stoke results, but also the Christmas fixtures, out of contract players, and what is our dream FA Cup third round tie. So welcome to our Rangers Walk. Let's start with that Stoke game. In fact, let's start with the rumours, Jawad. I'm not sure how strong they are. That, just as John says here, I've got a feeling that Marti is heading for the sack. Please tell me as a neutral that's not going to happen.
His post-match interview was actually, I think, something that kind of started the rumours, to be honest with you. He sounded a little bit kind of beaten, if you like. Well, I wouldn't even say beaten. He came out and said how grateful he was for the support, because for most of the second half, the supporters sang his name, and it was kind of one of those like, I've done everything I can. I'm proud of what I've achieved, and maybe the end is now. And when he was asked about his future, he said, "You're going to have to ask the owners that." So I think he kind of gave a little hint, and I think maybe it was more a kind of act of defiance, as if to say, "I've got the backing of the players, I've got the backing of the supporters. Do this if you dare," because I think there would be outrage at QPR if anything happened this week.
Absolutely. Michael, you are nowhere near Marti out, are you?
No, not at all. He's well loved within the fan base, I think, and I think the options that I've seen circulating about replacing him have been people who we've never heard of. And at the moment, we need stability. And I felt like against Stoke, with all the injuries that we've got, we were the better side, and we should have taken all 3 points.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our Stoke fan actually echoed that, and both those Stoke fans that went said, I don't know how we've got to point out that QPR were by far the better side throughout the game. Ryan, what's your view on this Marti? Your Marti debate. Welcome to the channel, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm fully Marti. There's no way you can say he should be kicked out, in my opinion.
Fingers crossed. Then we get to these games this week with Marti still in tow. Because Jared, it was a better performance, wasn't it? Apart from obviously Seller, which we'll come on to in a minute. Actually, looked an improved performance on what we've seen before.
There's been quite a few of the home games that have kind of gone that same way. The Plymouth game, we had chances. Sunderland against 10 men, we probably should have won it. Hull at home, they started really well, conceded a really stupid goal to start with. Coventry came in bad form in the second half. We probably should have won that. It's a little bit Groundhog Day. The performance was probably as good as we put in for a while. The chances were there. I think if we had Tom Cannon up front, we win that game easily, to be honest. I think it's going to be the kind of, until we sort out a striker, I think we're going to be feeling frustrated like this every single week.
Let's talk about the penalty, shall we? Michael, 53 North says, am I missing something here? We have a player who scored his last 9 penalties in Belgium and 1 over here. We need 3 points vitally, but no. We give the player with zero confidence the ball, and he even misses the target. Now, we don't like getting on players' backs too much, but I'm going to say this. If you are a forward and you can't hit the target from the penalty spot, that is, for me, a huge question mark over you as in your abilities.
Look, I understand the reasoning behind it. He went 15 games without a goal, and I thought if he scores this, then he's got that confidence. I thought maybe he might start firing them in for us, but he stuttered on his run up, which I don't really like. Anyway, he should have just hit it down the middle. And I was sat just to the side that he hit it wide, and I thought initially it went in, and then I saw it bounce off the screen, and I was like, oh my, like, it's just, you couldn't write it. And then when he got subbed off, he got booed, which I can see I understand the frustration. He's frustrating to watch, but he's never going to pick up any more confidence if we are just doing that. But I don't know.
The worst thing about it was they played the goal music when he missed, and the person clearly couldn't find the off button because it went on far too long as well. And I sit right by the away fan, so you can imagine their joy at that. Not only did he miss, but they've played the goal music.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Ryan, Dan says Lloyd has to start over Seller next game. His work rate was more than every game Seller has started the season. Gary says just keep Seller out of the team after another half-high performance. He goes through the motions, barely putting any effort in. I know he's only on the bench for Salvini, but how hard for players are they even put him in his squad? All right, then, talk about this Lloyd over Seller debate, because there wasn't the only person to talk about that.
I think it's a bit of the thing of it, right? Where you could argue Lloyd's going to put a lot more pressure on the ball. He's going to do what Armstrong used to do. He's going to press the ball. He's going to make it a nuisance. But they both can't score, in my opinion. But neither of them are very clinical. So you can either have Seller, who was a top goal scorer, or you have Lloyd, who will do more of an impact in the game. So for supporters, they're going to want to see Lloyd because he's going to do more. But as a manager, I'd pick Seller, even though he's not doing well.
Yeah.
Because over time, he might actually get a goal and then he might kick goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm holding out hope as well for that.
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think Ryan summed it up perfectly there. You've either got someone who probably, if they got a clear chance, I know he missed the penalty, but he might take it. Whereas I think Lloyd's going to be. It's a really good comparison with Sinclair Armstrong because he's not a finisher. Lloyd isn't even a striker, I don't think, really. But yeah, I think he might start Lloyd in the next game, but I probably would stick with Cello. I can't believe I'm saying that. But, yeah.
Okay, and of course, it's a huge game this week against Cardiff, isn't it? This is a 6-pointer. Let's look at some more briefly. Michael Harrison himself said we should have taken more from the game, but the improvements are starting to show. Let's get ready for another big game. Thank you for your supporters. What was your impression of Mr. Ashby?
I think he played well. He's playing out of position at left back, but he moved the ball forward, and he had a shot, went way over, but he was positive, and I felt like he's got good touch of the ball. He's got good passing range, and I think when you're playing out of position as a right-footed left back, he showed that we had a clear strategy in mind, and I think with all the injuries we've got, he did all right. Yeah,
I think he needs to go in as the first choice right back as soon as Powell is fully fit. I think Jimmy Dunn is becoming a bit of a problem. Teams 100% target him. That first goal, he had two attempts to kind of get the ball forward, and he got caught out on both of them, and it was a horrendous goal to concede. I thought Ashby at left back, he got forward well, hit the post, I think, in the second half as well. Yeah, he has to start, I think.
Yeah, Dunn. I mean, the first game of the season against West Brom, Dunn's errors caused those goals, didn't he? And he hasn't. It seems like he hasn't recovered fully from that. Ryan, one more for you. Loft for Words says twice in 2 home games against poor teams, Gavin Ward has basically played for us as a 12th man, and we've taken 2 points. Now, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but our Stoke fans weren't very happy. And I think, justifiably so, when the ball to Junior is played in, if it hits him anywhere, it hits him on his shoulder. One view of it looks like his shoulder, one view actually looks like it's his sternum, and then there's no whistle blown. Ryan, as much as you understand the rules of the game, can you explain what happens in that passage of play and why you can understand why Stoke fans are fuming?
Well, yeah, I can understand why they're annoyed, because as much as I think it is technically a handball, you can say that it's not because he didn't blow the whistle. He took way too long. But at the same time, the amount of times we've had an issue in the past where like a referee has given a handball goal, I was like, I'll take it. I was really disheartened when I saw it going. I was like, that's it. There's no way that's not going to be pulled out. And all of a sudden he just stopped it. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
So I don't think it should have been disallowed, but I'm happy it was. That's what I'm going to say.
Joe, you've had a bit of pelters online for sticking up for this being a handball. Do you stand by it being a handball, having watched it from different angles?
I think the angles that you have are inconclusive. But two things: if it's accidental handball, the referee can let play go on. But because no one else touches the ball and he scores directly from that, I think if that was in the Premier League, for example, I think VAR called it back for a handball if there's an angle that shows the handball. And the second thing is their manager after the game didn't use it as an excuse, which is great to see. But a decision like that, I don't care what manager you are, if it's the wrong decision, you come out and you basically slate the referee. So I've got a feeling the players kind of said it did hit my hand or something's going on, because he seemed a little bit too accepting of it after the game. So
well, actually, that was our lead discussion on the Stoke one. Does the manager need to be more nasty? Because exactly their point was he didn't seem that bothered by it, and they thought that was just his style of making sure everyone's still together and not blaming referees. But yeah,
the best thing about the whole incident was I sit right by the Stoke fans, and I realised it had been disallowed long before they realised it had been disallowed. So to watch them and like celebrate in front of them and them not realise what was happening, it took a good 20 seconds for them to kind of clock. It was, to be honest with you, when we haven't won at home, probably the highlight of the season so far.
Okay. All right, let's move on then from Stoke City. We're recording this, of course, before the midweek fixtures, so we really don't know how the Cardiff game will have gone by then. Let's have a look at how we think this period is going to go. First of all, Michael, 9 games in 30 days, it's good for us fans, but do you understand why players moan about it?
I understand, but it's the nature of the Championship at the end of the day. They know what they're signing up for. I think we're in a bit of a tough position because we've got quite a thin squad as it is. So I think any injury coming up, and we're already pretty unlucky, and we've got players out of position. But I think another injury hurt us. If Morrison gets injured again, he's quite injury prone. Okay. It's not going to be good.
I look at this set of fixtures, Ryan, as a neutral and think, right, if you're going to survive and you are going to be in a position where you can not be cut adrift, these 8 games, I think, are all, maybe apart from Norwich away, are all winnable.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I can see it, because we're very odd, in my opinion, because we're very good against sides that are actually decent at football, and we're terrible against sides that will just play like a Gareth Ainsworth way, in my opinion. A way that they can just beat you because they're not going to try and win the ball. Whereas if you can play against someone's strengths, we can win, because we're very good at the whole passing, if that makes sense. So if you've got your defence and you get to attack, and you've got a team that wants to play a hoofball, they're all going to sit back. So you can get to your attack, but you're not going to get through them. Whereas all of these sort of teams, I think, play a very particular way that you can break them down without needing to change your style, if that makes sense. So we actually have a chance of playing Marti's way and winning.
Okay. Jawad, you haven't won at home yet. It's been well documented. Is your first home win of the season on this screen right now?
If it's not, then we're going to be in League One next season. Looking at these eight fixtures, the first thing is I hate the fact that you played the same team twice in a month. In fact, it happened twice. I think is ridiculous fixture scheduling. I dread to think what the next 8 games after this are, if this is the next 8. I think Oxford seem to be dropping quickly. Preston don't win that many games. Norwich are inconsistent. So I think by Christmas Day, if we haven't got probably at least 9 points from those games, then I think we're going to be so far adrift that it's going to be a big ask after that.
I mean, if you've got to the 2nd of January, you still haven't won at home, having played an Oxford side a Preston side that don't travel well, and a Watford side that are great at home but are terrible away, then I fear for you that you will be playing. You definitely will be playing League One football next.
And no matter what they can do in January, like you say, if we haven't won a couple of those home games, you may as well not sign anybody because it wouldn't be worth wasting your money on anyone.
All right, fingers crossed that doesn't happen. We are talking about players now, though. Let's talk about out of contract players because January transfers around the corner, but the chairman's got some decisions to make in terms of some conversations. Quite a number of players out of contract here, Michael, as well. We've got it as 9 full first team squad members anyway are out of contract, which might have an impact on what's happening on the pitch at the moment, given that people don't know what's happening with their futures. What would you do as the owner here in terms of conversations, and with who?
Well, I think firstly renew Chair's contract. I think even if we do go down, he holds value. And I think
would he sign it?
That's the question. But I'd make it a priority to offer him a nice deal, and because he retains his value. Sato, I think we've got an option to buy, and I'm not sure if that's only if we survive though. But he's been one of our best players in any position he's played. Parl, we haven't got a left back, but Larkesh was doing well. Well, he was doing well before he got injured. Up in Scotland. Steve Cook's aging. He's not the player he was last season. Jimmy Dunn out of position a lot. Michael Frey seems to be the only one putting it at the back of the net. So I don't know if I would keep most of them because it might be good to have a total reset, but okay. I just hope we stay up.
Let me break the question down a little bit. Ryan, you're in the Championship, you've survived, and you've got enough money to give 3 permanent contracts here.
Mm-hmm.
Who's getting them?
I think Sato deserves it, needs it. If Chair picks up his performances, you give Chair it, and also so then you can sell him if you need to. And see, I'm a very strong advocate of Parl, and I think he's a very good player on his day. But at the same time, I think Frey has adapted to the league quite well, and Cook. But if Cook loses, keeps dropping off, you don't get Cook. If Frey gets injured again, you don't get Frey, which leaves, I think, Parl.
Okay. Jawad, disagree with anything that's been said there?
The club have a year option on Chair, so whatever happens, they'll take that, and if he expresses a desire to move on, then I think they would get a decent fee for him. I can't see anything happening before the end of the season. I think someone like Jimmy Dunn would probably be quite suited to playing in League One. But yeah, there's no one there that screams like I'd be desperate to keep Saito. I think obviously if we survive, I would 100% sign him. But if we go down, I can't see many of them being at the club next season. They're all probably quite high earners as well.
Okay. Right, let us know what you think in the comments below then. Lastly, it's FA Cup second round action this weekend, which means the third round draw is on its way. I know there's not a single QPR fan that we can meet that could care less about the FA Cup this season, I'm sure. It's all about survival. But if I could put you in charge of the draw, home or away against any club, which is obviously going to be in the same draw, who would you choose and why? Michael, you get this off for us?
I'd like Chelsea. I think it's just we need something. I think whoever we're going to draw, even whether we pull non-league or Premiership, I think we're not guaranteed a win. So ultimately, I want a team that will bring everyone together and bring a bit of nastiness back to Loftus Road. So I'd want Chelsea at home.
Chelsea at home. Okay, good shout. Ryan?
Yeah, I'd want either a Big Six or I'd want a non-league. I don't want anything in between. You need Big Six, then you get your game, you get your big game for the season, or you get your non-league, so you can push further and maybe then get Big Six again.
You don't want Hull City away, then, do you?
No,
No.
definitely.
Jawad?
Well, no team has been knocked out in the third round more than QPR in FA Cup history. So, and you say that we wouldn't want a cup run, but we get to this point every year, and it would be so nice to have a cup run. But as you say, like the league situation is so dire that we'll probably end up getting Watford or Norwich because we're playing them twice in a month. It'll be the third one in the month. I would like Man City at home. My son's obsessed with Haaland. He would love to see City at QPR. Plus, you'd have the Catalan genius of a manager up against Pep Guardiola. So Man City at home, but it'll be Watford away or something.
Yeah, let's manifest it. Come on, QPR versus Man City. Right, okay, let's be positive then this week. You can go and beat Cardiff there in disarray, having had a little bit of a revival, but now there's infighting about the manager and what's going to happen there. So you could go to Cardiff and win. I'm pretty sure of that. And then we'll sit here next week with a bit of a more smile on our face. Thank you very much for watching. If you've just come across the channel, we know there's lots of other good QPR content out there, but this is just 20 minutes each week. Drop us a like, drop us a subscribe. You know you want to. Thank you, Ryan. Oh, great to speak to you this week. We appreciate that. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Michael. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Mark.